Good morning, friends. This is Louise Weiss and Kelly Everhart and Denny Grimes, not Denny Grimes, Don Eldridge standing in for Denny Grimes until Matt Sharp arrives. We're going to have a fun scenario today. I'm sure you've heard it before. This is a scenario. You're on a listing appointment, and the seller asks, "Tell me about your experience." How do you answer that? That's the scenario we're going to go through today. We're looking for participants to be brave enough to put their names in the chat. Until we do, oh, hey, welcome, Matt.
Guten Tag.
Who would like to be the first one to answer? Tell me about your experience at a listing appointment.
Also, one thing to interrupt, you are talking to two of us at the same time. So, Louise, you might just have to play
Thank
the
you,
wife.
Ron,
You're
for
talking to two.
I'm glad you added that because that wasn't our instruction and I did not mention it. Thank you.
Okay.
This is good to have a partner.
I got the clock.
Okay, Frank, come on. I've heard some good things about you being rough. You're on the listing appointment with me. My husband, my imaginary husband is next to me, and we ask you to tell us about your experience. How do you answer that?
I get beat up every day. Okay.
Who's your husband? Who's your husband?
He's imaginary. Like I can
I
do
think
what
Don's your husband.
we're gonna do two. Okay.
Louise, this is
We're
the
having our
dating
first
game.
fight already.
Louise, this is the dating game. You get to say Bachelor 1, 2, or 3. Here's your chance. You got Matt. Go.
Hi. Well, I'll tell you what, I got into real estate a little backwards. I started in the mortgage business back in 1987, before you were born. And I started my own mortgage company, and I grew my mortgage company by coaching realtors. I've been an expert witness for both real estate and mortgage business. And then eventually Keller Williams asked me to become their team leader. So I kept my mortgage company and was a team leader. I still wasn't an agent, but I was growing that company. And then eventually I stepped down and decided to do what I've been training all this time and become an agent. And that's how I got into this industry.
What do you think, Don?
Well, what's the experience with selling homes?
I've been involved in over 1,000 real estate transactions between the mortgage and the real estate. As far as real estate goes, I've been Medina County's best of the best 4 years, 2 years in a row in the last 2 years. Cleveland Magazine top realtor. So I've got experience, and if you Google me, you'll see all the references to me. So
And
this
I
is
don't know if
terrible.
we have
I'm off today, guys.
I don't know if we have a timer.
We do.
Sherry,
15 seconds.
Okay. Well,
I'm just vomiting. I'm off. So
That's
well,
all
Frank,
right.
I was just
Let
kind
it,
of curious to know your experience, with the triplex in this specific neighborhood. But thank you for telling us about everything.
Okay, now we're out of time, guys. Good job, Frank.
so first and foremost, I always like to make sure whenever I get asked a question, whether it be a buyer or a seller, that I'm on the right road. What do I mean by ensuring I'm on the right road, you ask? Good question. I want to ensure that I'm speaking to what they want to know. So experience is broad and sweeping. It's very vague. Well, experience what? I'm really good at mowing lawns and I do dishes pretty well. But what experience are we talking about here? So, because what Frank did, and I appreciate you going Frank first, Frank, and nobody on here is going to castigate you because you did you gave a perfect example of when you don't seek to understand, you start to tell them about, well, back in the day I got into mortgages and they didn't want to know about, what got you here. Louise asked you after the fact, what's your experience selling triplexes? So everything before that was irrelevant. And so thank you for doing that. It actually is very helpful. But then the last bit of feedback I'm going to give to everybody moving forward, and this is just a little clue, is when they say experience, what is the experience that they're looking for you to quantify and qualify? What is it? All right. Who's up next?
Matt, you're the husband this time.
I want to be the wife.
Well, you and Louise can
I got
fight.
beautiful
Hey,
mustache.
Kelly and Matt. Kelly, chances with Kelly and Matt. How's that?
All right.
Okay.
This is going to be,
This is beautiful. Come
yeah.
on, baby.
You're in, Kelly.
All right. Who we with, Chance? Chance, tell me about your experience.
Hey, Kelly. So tell me a little bit about whenever you say my experience, what is exactly what you're referring to there?
Well, what kind of experience do you have? You're trying to sell our house.
Okay. So is there a particular agent with a certain amount of experience that you're looking for?
Well, honey, what do you think?
Well, here's what I think. Well, what chance? I mean, we're interviewing you. We've talked to other realtors. We want to understand what your experience has been selling homes, not too dissimilar to ours, and in our area.
Okay, and I definitely I can definitely understand that. But as far as, experience is kind of a broad range. So tell me a little bit about what you guys what your expectations are, for this experienced realtor.
Well, we want to know that the person we hire is familiar with our area and selling homes like ours. I mean, number one, I mean, I don't know that I don't think we've thought about brass tacks of.
Time. Time goes fast.
It does go fast, especially so we played a professional game of badminton there. If you're familiar with badminton, everybody,
Yeah.
it was kind of like back and forth, back and forth. So, all right. I don't want to give too much away here because I want to keep titrating the feedback up. When they ask about experience and you seek to understand what the experience is that they're looking for, what I also would want to implant into this conversation is when you find the person with the right experience, are they working with you? Okay, and that's so if we play this game of badminton with, what kind of how much experience do you have? Well, what experience are you looking for? Well, selling homes like ours. Well, have you talked to other agents? And no. It's hey, when you find somebody with experience that checks all the boxes, is that all that are you going to be ready to get started? Do you see where I'm going? And
Yeah.
I'm trying to keep it very vague with the feedback. So figure out why are we here? What's this about? Am I the right person? Next.
Jose is with Don and Louise. Don, you take the lead on this one.
Okay. Experience. Tell us about it, Jose.
Don, Luis, thank you for asking the question. Now, to better answer the question, narrow that down for me. What does experience mean to you?
Well, I think Louise and I want to know, can you get my house sold? Have you sold houses like this? How quickly can you do it? And how many homes have you sold?
Okay. Anything else that it represents experience for you?
Louise?
Yes, yeah. It's important to me to know what your ratios are. I'd like to know how long you've been in the business. I'd like to know what your sales price to list price ratio is. I'm an engineer, and these metrics are very important to me.
Drives me
Right.
crazy.
Gotcha. I understand that. And I feel sorry for you, Don. My wife is the same way.
I actually take offense to that.
You shouldn't because we've been married for some time. So it's a good yin and yang. So if I can answer all those questions and they make sense, anything else keeping us from working together?
Oh, no, that's a lot to unpack in 90 seconds, but go ahead.
So yes, my sell to list to sell ratio is X. Yes, I have sold similar homes to you, like yours. And the market is based on the presentation we went. You see the days on market, so there shouldn't be a problem getting this sold. What other questions can I answer?
Time. The one statement I retracted right then at the end was shouldn't be any problem getting the home sold. What happens if it is? Whose fault
Right.
is it?
Yep.
Careful.
Well,
Matt.
or ensure that if you're going to say that, hey guys, I know unequivocally it's not going to be there. We will have zero issues getting your home sold as long as we adhere to what the market says. So make sure that you add those words in there because I know without question. I mean, I could list Kelly's house for sale right now for $10 million over what it would sell for, but and I guarantee it would be sold as long as he's willing to do what the market says. So that's number one. Number two, now I'm going to get a little more granular with feedback now that we pulled out a role play where somebody actually did kind of what they should have done. So before I answer your question about experience, whomever it is, Mr. or Mrs. Seller, before I answer your question about experience, when assuming that how I respond meets and exceeds all of your expectations, would there be anything else that would prevent us from getting started working together today? So when you know the answer to when I answer your questions, if you're satisfied with what you hear, are we moving forward? Great. Then you go back in. So when you say experience, what exactly do you mean? Because I don't want to read off the entire menu of my illustrious career. And, I kind of like, I'm using body language there, my illustrious career, if none of it's relevant to you. So what exactly do we want to focus on? Good?
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we have Michelle next with Louise and Kelly, and we're looking for more people to participate. So please put your names in the chat. Hey, Michelle, Kelly and I would like you to tell us about your experience.
Okay, I hear you, Louise. And when you say experience, before I answer your question about experience and assuming what I say answers what you're looking for above and beyond what you would expect from an agent, would you say there's anything else you would like to discuss?
What do you think, Kelly? I can't think of anything else.
I can't think of anything else, but how many homes have you sold recently?
That's a great question. And my brokerage and we have sold numerous of homes.
How
Um,
what does that look like for you though?
what does that look like for me? Well, we all work together in our brokerage, and I can share that information with you. I actually shared that with you all in an email. With and without questioning, let me see. I'm trying to see how I can word that. When you find the person that you would like to work with the experience that you're looking for, are you prepared to move forward?
Yeah, that's why Louise and I are interviewing you. But let me ask you this. You're asking me these questions that lead me to think this, and I know my wife would probably think the same here because we share a brain cell, but what makes you different from the other agents? You're at our house right now.
Time.
That's a
Time.
great question.
Time.
That's a fun one.
Ooh.
That's an example of how to answer a question by not answering a question.
Yeah.
And that's okay, guys. I really, 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 really am grateful that you're exhibiting this. You're putting this forward because this is what most agents will do on an appointment, short of verbal diarrhea. And Frank kind of gave us an example of that. It's like and that's okay. I'm not beating you up, Frank. But we're getting perfect examples of what every agent does on an appointment. And I'm doing my best to give you the framework of, hey, before I answer your question, I always like to seek to understand. If you when I address your questions about experience, understanding more thoroughly what your definition is, as long as you feel that that meets and exceeds your expectations. Was there anything else that we needed to discuss before we get started? Great. Now, before I read you the entire menu, and because it is vast, what exactly when you say experience, what exactly is it you're looking to know from me? Okay. Then when they tell you what it is, how many homes have you sold? Well, my brokerage is the number one brokerage in the area. They've sold almost $1 billion in volume this year alone. And then so you can use the brokerage, guys, but then if they say, well, what about you? Well, it's a great question. I've sold X number of properties. If you have a team or whoever it is, I've sold X number of properties this year. What other questions can I answer for you? Don't be afraid to answer the question. And then what other questions, just confidently, hey, I've sold about 16 homes this year so far. But if you haven't sold a lot, I appreciate you giving me the space to give this detailed feedback, because this is very real in a market like Kelly and I's that is changing. Kelly and my, whatever, that is changing. Well, so far this year, I've sold 4 properties. Would you like to know the number I'm more proud about, though? Well, no. Well, sure. Well, the number I'm most proud about is the 61 clients that I chose not to hire because I couldn't meet and exceed their expectations in today's market. So, and then they might say, well, what do you mean? Right? So do you see what I'm doing there? I'm answering their question, and maybe I don't give them a number that blows a wig off their head. I've sold 100 homes so far. Well, no, I've sold 5 homes so far this year. Would you like to know the number I'm most proud about, though? The 61 people I chose not to hire because I couldn't meet or exceed their expectations. And I would rather have turned them down now versus let them down later. So something like
Matt, if you could wrap that framework up again, like maybe in a couple points, what would it be? Just so we have a framework to go by.
Framework. Before I answer your question, assuming that my answer checks all the boxes for you, are we ready to get started? Is there anything else preventing us from moving forward? Isolate. Are we moving forward? Or do you have another laundry list you're about to pull out of your back pocket because you got 2 people, right? Then they say, no, that's it. Okay, great. Now define experience for me. What are the metrics you'd like to know from me to know I'm the right person? Awesome. Then you go into addressing those metrics. What other questions after that? What other questions can I answer for you before we get going?
One last thing. Is this just really the objection model?
Yeah, that's really it.
Got it.
And it works 90% of the time. The only time the objection model doesn't work, and I'm just off the cuff here, is when they're not real. It's right. Like when they're just like when they're at their husband-wife scenario, you're pitting against each other. They're arguing. You can't isolate an address when they're arguing.
That's a condition, not an objection.
Yeah, that's why I've said before, guys, it sounds like the last thing we can do right now is help you. You two need to get on the same page.
Yeah.
Right? So, anybody else?
Yes. Okay, next we have Paulina with Matt and Don.
Awesome. We're brothers, Matt.
Yes.
We're brothers. We're not married. We're brothers. It's mom and dad's house. They've passed away.
Yep.
That's a good point.
Well, Scottsdale.
Step brothers.
Let's go. Where's Paulina at?
I'm here.
Oh, okay. She's just sitting quietly. Let's roll.
Go ahead, Matt.
Hey, Paulina, appreciate coming over. Don and I really want to get this show on the road. Mom and Dad passed away. We just want to know what, tell me about your experience.
Mm-hmm. Well, Matt, before I give you all of my numbers, other than experience, is there anything else that you're looking for in an agent, in the next agent you hire?
No, we just need to know that, people, whoever we hire has dealt with the situation like ours.
Hmm. Yes. So, Matt, Don, this year alone, our team has helped over 100 people. So you are in great hands.
What
Is
didn't
there
you do
anything else?
right there? I'm throwing a flag. What didn't you do right there?
Um, what do you define by experience, Matt?
Good question. Well, I'll defer to Don in a second, but what we want to know, you've dealt with people that are settling family affairs like ours.
Mm-hmm.
Don.
Mm-hmm. And if I told you that I have dealt with the situation like yours, would there be anything else that would stop you from hiring me today?
No, we just want to know that, this is a sensitive situation. Mom and dad's home is important to us, but we need help.
Mm-hmm. And besides this being a sensitive situation, is there anything else I need to know before we move forward?
No.
No, Matt's the executor, so he's the one signing, but obviously I'm in the game too.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. So what is important to you, Don, in the next agent you hire?
Well, we're out of time.
Good job. I was hoping because you asked me, was there anything I needed to know? I said, we want to make sure that whoever we hire has addressed sensitive situations like ours. Now, what you missed is when you say a sensitive situation, what do you mean? I would have got clarity. Well, mom and dad's home, we inherited it, but we don't want to keep it, right? Whatever I say there. Now, what I would have done then, playing now we're getting again more granular. We're going deeper in the well here. I'm going to look at Dawn and say, Dawn, so instead of asking me, was there anything else I need to know or what else do you need to know? I just said, Dawn, and what's important to you? Go right to all right, so we got this. Dawn, what else are we missing? Right? So address everyone in the room. So when you get, that's what I like to do when I'm, husband, wife scenario. I get, whoever's talking, the driver, get their criteria, whatever that is, and then go, what else are we missing? You look at the other person. What else are we missing? Most of the time, they're going to go, nothing, we're good, right? But address it. Because if you don't know, I've said before, if you don't know, don't go. And that applies here. If you don't know that you flushed out all the issues, don't move forward.
And
Good job.
she did it. She did at one point say Don and Matt,
Mm-hmm.
which was good because that drew me in. I wasn't being excluded. Matt's the decision maker, but I want to hear. So always address that silent partner because they will take you out behind closed doors.
It's the one that doesn't talk a lot that typically
That's right.
has some cards up their sleeve.
That's right.
Okay. Oh, I'm not even going to try that name.
Carl, it's going to be Carlos with Don and Kelly, and then Kitten with Matt and Louise.
Okay.
Same situation.
Yeah, Carlos.
Yes. Okay. Same situation. First and foremost, I'm really sorry about your loss, guys. You're welcome. And how can I be best help in your situation right now, guys?
Well, again, I want to find out the experience. Well, tell me about your experience.
Sure, I can definitely share that with you guys. Before I do that, let me ask you a quick question. Are there any other agents you guys have previously interviewed, or you have it on the waiting list that you're going to do it right after when we're done here?
Yeah, you asked us that on the call, and yeah, we've now talked to two. I think Kelly and I have said one of them's definitely out, one of them's in the running. So you're the third and last.
I appreciate that, Don, because typically it happens. Last time I asked you, there was none. And then between now and then, you guys already talked. Appreciate that. And how about you, Matt? What are your thoughts on that?
It's Kelly. Kelly. Call him by his right name.
Kelly. My apologies.
My brother's always taking care of me. Here, my thoughts are pretty simple. Basically, you're here. Why should we choose you?
I appreciate that question, Kelly and Don. And before I go into that, is there anything specific or a barometer that you're going to qualify any agent when you ask that question?
Kelly?
Well, Don and I have talked about it, but it's really experience. Are we going to make a lot of money
Time.
on the sell? It's a sensitive situation.
Time.
You're
Matt,
muted, Matt.
You're muted, Matt. Still.
Shame. Who muted me like that? I was coughing into the microphone. You needed to hear that. Anyway, it's really interesting. I'm not beating up people on the call. I've given you the framework, and we're still adulterating the framework. It's in, and it's like, right. We're Don's doing the circular motion. It's like we're not really, Carlos, you more or less in that role play never got past the kind of like, what do we need to know? It's like, well, what do you need to know? What do you need to know? What do you need to know? What do you need? And you're confirming, you're constantly confirming. And like my eyes were going crossed if I was the seller. It's like, are we going to get to this or what? So the framework, figure out before I answer your question. You don't have to use those exact words, guys, but it's all right. Well, I want to put a pen in that. You want to know about my experience. What else do you need to know from me to know that I'm the right person to move forward? Okay. And when I address these items, whatever they are we moving forward today? Because guess what Matthew's not going to do if they say no? I'm not going to answer the questions. We're going to end the meeting because I'm there to help people that need my help and are ready to move forward, not people that need 10 years to think about it and interview 27 more people. Because Don, remember the Lamborghini role play? I'm not gonna go into it here, but I want to think about it. All right. Well, listen, what type do you like cars? You like Lamborghinis? Yep. Right? Well, if you found the one today that you're looking for, would you want to kick it down the road and keep looking for more? Or would you buy it? Right? This is no different than that. Okay? Why are we waiting? Right? So, what do you need to know from me? When you know it, you ready to move forward? Great. Now, define X, whatever X is. If it's experience, if it's whatever it is. What do you do for marketing? Define it. Then answer it. All right.
Thank you, Matt.
We got one
appreciate it.
We're investment partners, and we're liquidating our portfolio, and we're talking to Kitten.
What was it? The scenario is again, it's not the siblings.
Tell me about your experience. You're talking to a couple. This couple, we're investment partners. We're liquidating part of our portfolio.
Okay. The names of the two?
Louise and Matt.
All right. Hi, Louise and Matt. I appreciate you making time for me to come meet with you today. And I was wanting to know what's important to you on selling some of your properties.
Louise, you want to take this one?
Yeah. Well, for me, I just want to make sure that we're working with an agent who has dealt with investment properties before.
Okay, that makes sense. What is it important to you to know about my experience? Is it how many properties? Is it how many my team has sold? What's important to both of you?
I'd like to know your ratio of investment properties to home-owned properties. Matt, what about you?
It's net to me. I don't care about anything else at net. Money in my pocket.
Okay, it's smart to use a realtor instead of doing it on your own. That usually does get more money in your pocket. And I have got a good experience with that. My team also has a lot of experience with that, so I have good backup. How many properties are you looking to liquidate at this moment?
We'll start with the one.
Okay. My brain is fried. I was expecting the sibling one. I have a lot of experience with that one. I haven't actually done this one yet. I've done the multiple people with siblings.
That's all right. Here. So, actually, that was a good question. How many you're looking to liquidate, Kitten? Good job. I wouldn't have asked that.
Thank you.
Actually, I might have, but it wouldn't have been right away. But I really like it. That's good. I especially like it when it is investors. Figure out what we're talking about here. Because, I mean, Luis threw you that curveball of, yeah, we're investors. We're talking about liquidating properties. Awesome. Well, how many are we going to get rid of? Right? You're speaking investor language. That's where I'm going with this, guys. So know who you're speaking to, right?
We
As
just want
far
to, we want to stop the recording and go into overtime here.
yeah. So let's do that. Go ahead and shut the recording off.